You have probably heard of something called cancel culture, right? 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 Yes. The answer is you have. What the fuck is cancel culture? This is something I've actually wanted to talk about on my own for a while because a lot of people have no fucking idea what the fuck cancel culture means. It's gone haywire. It's such a popular term now. People misuse it all the time. And a lot of people say it doesn't even exist. I think it does exist. I think it exists and it's a real problem. However, first we have to define what it means. This is part 3 of 4 videos where I ever so eloquently explain my problems with the left, my personal problems, just my perspective. We're doing it real calm, real nice, very professional. Okay, so here is what cancel culture is not. How do I do it? Can I do a fade to black? Hold on, wait. I want to do it like something theatrical. How do I do it? Hey, what's up, folks? It's me, comedian number 72 off a Netflix special. Hey, folks! Wow! Yes. Is that an Oriental person right in the front? Ching chong to you, my friends. Now, first up, have you heard about this thing called cancel culture? I sold out the seats on only 64 of my 72 regional comedy specials over the past 3 years. Why do you think that is? Well, some people might think that it's because I'm old and dying slowly and I haven't gotten new material in 20 years and the world is leaving me behind and my kids won't call me anymore and I'm desperately compensating for my personal failures by writing out the same scripts over and over and over again, looking for that same validation that carried me through my 30s and 40s. Some people might say that, but it's not that. It's not actually that. It's this little thing called cancel culture, okay? Cancel culture. It's insane. Apparently, all you have to do is make a joke about gluten Tide Pods. And these millennials, they freak out. They lose their shit. Something trannies. I don't know. What makes you laugh? I have no idea. That's what cancel culture is not, okay? There is this wave. There is this fucking wave of like really fucking dishonest avocados. This really fucking like dishonest bad faith discourse surrounding cancel culture. There are people complaining about cancel culture who are multimillionaires. There are people complaining about cancel culture who have daytime TV slots that allow them access to more consistent viewership than the fucking population of some countries. There are some people complaining about cancel culture who are elected officials of the United States government. There are people fucking all over the place. None of these things are cancel culture. None of them are. When somebody says, hey, look, these college students at Berkeley tried to keep Milo Yiannopoulos from speaking, that's cancel culture. Cancel culture is insane. You can respond with, it's like cancel culture. That's deplatforming, you fucking idiot. And people have been doing it for ages. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, well, when James Alsop got banned off of YouTube, that's cancel culture. What? James Alsop was a literal neo-Nazi. He got banned off YouTube for violating their TOS. They're doing a crackdown on Nazis. What the fuck does that have to do with cancel culture? What the fuck do you think cancel culture... Do you think cancel culture literally means like anytime anybody can't do a thing? Oh... Well, some people don't think that Candace Owens was the right person to talk about white supremacy. Do you have any fucking idea what cancel culture? Shut up! Listen, if anyone who is right-leaning or even center-leaning comes up to you and talks to you about cancel culture, fucking get your Glock. Do you have a local Glock drawer? This is my Glock drawer. Look, mood stabilizers, cough medication, and a little further in, damn, boxes of ammunition. Keep your Glock drawer right on hand, and then show it to them and bond over a shared appreciation of gun culture, because political violence is wrong, friends. Cancel culture exists, but it is something that can only exist within a given social space, not between different social spaces. Let me give you an example. What do you think would happen to me if somebody like Steven Crowder canceled me? So Steven Crowder goes on there and, hey, I heard about this new YouTuber, Zeus. Pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. Got a little man bun there. This little guy's a freaking douchebag or something like that. Little 12-minute, yeah, like call me a soy boy or some shit. What do you think would happen to me? Well, I would probably get a lot of harassment from Crowder's fans, and that would probably suck. A lot of probably doxing, targeted threats. Now, what would happen to my fan base? Absolutely nothing. In fact, my fan base might even get bigger. In fact, it would be guaranteed to get significantly larger on account of that. Guaranteed. It would only grow. In terms of my fan base, I could only explode from that. I couldn't be canceled by Steven Crowder. There was literally nothing Steven Crowder could do to cancel me. It's incredible. Nothing at all that he could do. Even if I was going to an event like Minds IRL or some lefty rally, and somehow they protested there to keep me off the stage, what do you think would happen to my fan base? Nothing. Nothing would happen to my fan base. No harm comes to my reputation when I am canceled by people who are the opposition. And for that reason, it's not cancel culture. It's just deplatforming. It's just harassment. It's just being targeted. This isn't cancel culture. However, what do you think would happen to my fan base if one day, and this would never happen, but I hope, but if one day Contrapoints put out a short video saying, hey guys, Natalie here, and of course she looks beautiful as always. I've heard a lot of people saying stuff about this YouTuber named Vosh, and I really don't think you guys should be fucking with him. He's done some really bad shit. You can see here these transphobia tweets, and you can see here the sexual harassment, and I just, he could have been a good boy, but I just think that my fan base would erupt. There would literally be a fucking it would be a fucking civil war in my fan base. My ability to market myself within the left for years would be fucked, because the single largest lefty content creator, period, canceled me. That would be cancel culture. And that is something that only somebody within my social space has the power to do. Because the canceling portion of the cancel culture, what is cancel? That doesn't just mean disagreeing with someone or even depriving them of material resources. Those things aren't necessarily canceling. What it means is you are condemning that person along the same ethical lines that they have built their fan base along. You are not saying, hey, this person's shit. You're saying, hey, this person is shit for the community that we share. And that right there is a critical distinction that people really fail to acknowledge. That's the distinction that makes the difference between cancel culture and just being insulted or being condemned or told off by someone else. If a Nazi comes up to me and says, hey, Vosh, you hate the white man, you hate the white race, no one's fucking canceling me. But if a trans woman comes up to me on Twitter and says, "Fuck you, Vosh. What the fuck are you doing? You don't give a fuck about trans people. You said you wanted to kill all of us. You're horrible for trans people. I don't know how you deluded your fan base into believing that you're not transphobic. Fuck you. Anyone who follows me, stop watching Vosh. He's a liar and a grifter." That'd be it. I mean, well, that wouldn't be it in the sense that that would be over for me, because this happens to me on a daily basis. That would be it in the sense that that's a product of cancel culture right there. And this is the distinction I want to ham home. So if a right-leaning person ever complains about cancel culture from the left, you can tell them, you can request of them within the guidelines of YouTube's TOS to kill themselves respectfully. You can say, you can make a consequentialist argument. Hey, I believe the world would be a better place if you took your own life. Please consider this. Do so. Now, the right can actually cancel culture itself sometimes from within. That actually has happened. I'm struggling to think of examples right now, but I do remember there being drama between different Nazis in like the Nazi sphere of the right over which ones are like selling out to the Jew. I remember this. Wasn't it between Alsop and Nicholas Fuentes, or was it different? Milo, I don't know if what I would count Milo. I don't know if I would count Milo. What happened with Milo is Milo just became so like deplorable that he wasn't marketable anymore, you know? You could make the argument, though. Whatever the case is, yeah, exactly. Milo's usefulness ran out. Oh, yeah, sometimes there are far-right fascist isolationists who will talk shit about Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro is a hawk, you know? The dude from InfoWars and Ben Shapiro. Oh, that's right. Perfect. Paul Joseph Watson and Ben Shapiro. Now, Paul Joseph Watson and Ben Shapiro are both fascists. Paul Joseph Watson might be a Nazi, but I'm not sure. Paul Joseph Watson gave Ben Shapiro a ton of shit for being pro-war, whereas Paul Joseph Watson is more of the classically isolationist fascist type rather than the hawkish neocon fascist type, you know? That was kind of like cancel culture. That stuff happens. But again, it only happens from within a community, because you can only cancel people insofar as you're capable of saying that they do not fulfill like the needs of their audience's sort of moral alignment. But let's talk about cancel culture, huh? Let's talk about it, huh? Cancel culture exists within the left. I experience it all the time. Guys, do I really need to say this? Like, is it really surprising to you if I come up to you and say like, "Hello, my name is Vosh, and people constantly tell me that I'm not good enough for the left, and that I'm actually a grifter and a bigot, and a reactionary, and a radlib, and a transphobe, and that my viewers should go somewhere else"? Is it really surprising to you that I get this day in and day out? Do I need to grandstand about it? Got the sniffles. So we don't really need to grandstand about that. The problem is cancel culture really, really hurts people that we should be building spaces together with. Now, there are two groups here. There are the big boy content creators, okay? And then there are the non-content creators, the public figure and the non-public figure. And this is always an important distinction, because you and I, you being the presumed non-public figure, are going to experience these issues from a different lens than I will. Obviously, we interact with the social space in a different way. Now, in terms of the non-public figure, marginalized people get fucked by cancel culture harder than anyone else. I can't tell you how many times I've seen like trans people, for example, or like people of color try to like assimilate with a leftist community, because that's of course where they're going to find like the most help, the greatest degree of safety, you know, it's within the left. But then for them to like not meet a standard, to slightly deviate or maybe like fuck up once, and then these people get fucking axed. I've seen this happen before. This isn't like a super common thing or anything, but it's really fucked up when it does happen. Imagine the like, I don't know, dude, just like imagine the like the feeling of contentedness and peace and like, you know, safety that you might get from being in a from being a member of a marginalized community, and then like you like aren't perfectly in line, or you aren't perfectly in sync with what people expect, and there's someone there with a little bit more social authority than you, and they come at you and they're like, hey, are you really, like a part of us? Are you really a part of this? Are you really in line? And then you just get like thrown out. Yeah, it's happened to me a lot in all black Discord server. It's be slightly center and all of a sudden you're a 4chaner. I assume you're black. That adds a lot of context, I imagine, to what you're saying. This happens a lot. And it's really fucking sad. This fits in a lot with the purity testing thing. Cancel culture and purity testing are basically two sides of the same coin. The difference being that woke scolding doesn't necessarily lead intrinsically to like a condemnation and exclusion of a person, whereas cancel culture basically inherently does. Happened to me with the SCP IRC community, happens to me a lot. Yeah. And again, like, I'm not saying if you're like trans and you go into a trans Discord server and you show up there and you're like, hello, my fellow N-words. Hate the Jews. Like, I'm not saying that no behavior is so bad that it can get you reasonably kicked out of a social space. That would be pretty dumb of me. I'm not making that claim. The claim I'm just trying to make is that, like, our trigger fingers sometimes are really, really fucking heavy, or really light. I'm terribly sorry. No, wait. Our trigger fingers are ready. The trigger guard is light. Yeah, there you go. Or something. And when that does happen, it means that not only are we making our space more homogenous, which in a way makes it weaker because it's less capable of assimilating, different groups. It also means that we're throwing people out who kind of need that protection. This is much more easily evidenced fucking yup here in the fucking public figure space. And this is really shitty. I mean, look at what happened to Contra. Listen, it should be known, I'm 100% a fucking, like, Contra fan, Not a stan or any weird shit like that. But, like, yeah, I really like Contra. I have a ton of respect for her. And I also think that she got treated really poorly during all of this drama with non-binary shit. I think claims made against her were blown way the fuck out of proportion, that people were being super fucking disingenuous. And a lot of the people who were being super fucking disingenuous after she left Twitter were like gloating about it. I have no respect for like people who believe that leftist progress can be made by like fucking harassing the best leftist advocate that we've ever seen on this platform off because like you disagree with a few personal takes that she has on pronoun usage. I think that's really fucking disgusting. Just really quick, in my personal opinion, if you're one of the people who looks at what happens to Contra and you think like, okay, well, she probably kind of deserved it, you're probably a fucking cunt. I'm really sorry. You're probably a huge fucking cunt and not a very good advocate for leftism either. I'm really sorry that Contra's fucking personal experiences triggered the shit out of you or something, but Contra has done more for like trans rights than basically any other human alive at this point, and I feel like that owes her some degree of respectability and like like due diligence, in my humble opinion. Whatever the case may be, Contrapoints fucking lent her opinion on the pronoun shit, and though she wasn't canceled, like, completely or anything, there was an effort to cancel her. And because Contrapoints is a trans woman who's built herself as a pillar of the leftist space on YouTube, there is no other avenue that she can really reside on. Her safety and her sustainability as a content creator are kind of dependent on the social structures that she's already a part of. You know what I mean? However, if I like got hyper canceled by the left or whatever, hypothetically, I can survive decently well because I have the social capital by way of not just being charismatic, but also being of a cisgender white dude, to kind of build myself elsewise. I guarantee you, a lot of you right now are watching me in spite of having been told by other people not to watch me. And that's cool, and it makes me feel very edgy and what have you. However, that ability is probably bolstered by the fact that I have privilege, inherent to sort of my demographic status. This cancel culture shit is bad when it does happen. Look at what happened to Contrapoints. Look at what happened to Peter Coffin. Look at what happened to fucking H Bomber guy. Now, did anyone get completely canceled over this? No, but it hurts and it it's divisive. It hurts the left. It doesn't make for good advocacy. It doesn't make us look particularly good to other people when we look like a bunch of screaming, mewling children who are constantly arguing with one another over minor differences and positions that are so radical they wouldn't even be taken seriously outside of our community. That's a little bit fucking weird. What happened with Peter? And H-Bomb? H-Bomb was accused of defending a friend who like raped somebody, and something similar with Peter. You guys don't know what happened with H-Bomber guy? It really depends on what circles of Twitter you're in, but H-Bomber guy has gotten his own cancel culture shit. There's a was that the Angie Speak stuff? Yes. There's a concept called tactical unity that I'm rather fond of. And it essentially means this. Work together with people who have shared interests and divide yourself amongst mutually exclusive interests only when a time has been reached where there is no opportunity other than that. Like you have no other like choices. There's no other room to move. I'm willing to work with liberals, so capitalists, against fascism and Nazism. Destiny, we all know Destiny here, right? Destiny is a liberal. He is. Probably some variant of neolib or suckdem or whatever. However, Destiny is very progressive. He is. I know a lot of people say like, oh God, well, look at that debate with non-compete or whatever. Nah, Destiny has advocated for like race and gender abolitionism. Destiny wants open borders. Destiny is genuinely a progressive person. And even though he is a filthy, disgusting capitalist, I am willing to work with him on the progressive element, moving forward on that, shared interests, shared goals. And then eventually, when the fork in the road is reached, capitalism, socialism, that is where we have to pick our fights. Contrapoints got canceled because Contrapoints had reservations against certain social spaces where everyone was expected to share their pronouns. And she said it made her feel uncomfortable because if she went to just your regular old cisgender like Southern bar, everyone would call her she and ma'am and her. Because it's Contrapoints, But if she goes into these super woke communities who are A, aware of who Contrapoints is, and B, probably a little bit better at, clocking people, because a greater degree of familiarity with trans people usually means that it's more likely that you're able to, recognize trans or non-binary people based on their presentation, their appearance, and what have you. So Contrapoints will go into a regular fucking bar, get treated like a lady. Contrapoints will go into one of these spaces, one of these hyper-woke progressive spaces, and everyone will sit down in a circle and share pronouns, but everyone there is cis except for her. So they're all staring at Contra, just waiting. And it seems like a process, at least in her experience, that kind of felt a little bit dysphoria-inducing. Now, a lot of NB people like having the pronoun shit because a lot of NBs, because they, they, them, you never like look and see they, them, or at least it's very hard to. So they like having the opportunity to say that. Guys, these are really minor ideological differences that affect the material world insubstantially. These are differences in personal preferences concerning their integration into spaces that are like 0.001% of spaces. And the worst possible outcome of differences here is that people like quickly correct themselves and go like, actually, okay, I'm more comfortable with this. Oh, okay. But people on Twitter were losing their shit over it. They're fucking going crazy over nothing. It's not nothing. I mean, your feelings are valid or whatever, but this is like so much. Guys, there is a global resurgence of fascism. Trans people are being like fucking fucked out of legal rights all across even America. Why would you ever think it is acceptable to start drawing lines in the dirt between something that in comparison to the problems most people are dealing with are as ideologically inconsequential as a preference between orange or apple juice? Hey guys, are you ready for it? I'm about to drop a fucking hot fucking take. I'm a fucking cis white dude, okay? I'm middle class. What? Look, I'm doing it, okay? I'm even doing it in my hot take position, okay? Are you fucking ready for it, okay? If you, as a fucking NB or trans or whatever the fuck person, are so encanced with Contrapoints' take or behavior that you think it's worth harassing and trying to cancel a nearly million sub pro-trans left-leaning YouTuber because of this minor ideological disagreement, you're fucking privileged and you are completely distanced from the needs and the interests and the material concerns of the vast majority of the population. You were like, wait, you're not even in the same fucking ballpark. And if you aren't privileged, if you are like legit fucking 3 jobs, barely able to sustain yourself, poor fucking lower income and non-binary whatever the fuck person, and you still give a shit about this, then you're not privileged, you're just delusional. You're acting against your own class interest. I can see it now. The Porkies fucking you know how many fucking right-leaning Twitter accounts were like, look at this. The left can't even handle itself. Contrapoints deleting her Twitter. Ooh, Contra, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Oh, those people are like children, aren't they? I can imagine Porky like, yes, excellent. We tried to deal with Contrapoints' channel every way we could. We tried demonetizing. We couldn't stop her. But then some people didn't like the fact that she didn't like being asked her pronouns on Hyper Workspaces, and they've all lost their minds. Like, fucking God. I imagine what kind of brainworms, what kind of fucking brainworms a person could have to believe that that's worth the response that it got. And that's the issue to me. Tactical unity, you know, the idea that you should work together with people as long as you have something to work together on. We do this in our day-to-day lives, every day too. Every single fucking day of our lives. When you talk to someone out on the street, when you need something from someone else, when you call on somebody for help, do you then go ahead and like invoke every single potential disagreement you have between these people? No, of course you don't. When you need help from people, or when people need help from you, you focus on the things you can help each other on, and if you do have problems, you generally save them from when they're pertinent or relevant. But people online can't do that, because people online have no sense of perspective, because people online have no fucking idea what it means to actually engage in praxis. For people online, the angry tweet threads that condemn Contrapoints or me or whatever for having this and this bad take, this to them, this in their mind, this is praxis. This is as good as praxis gets. That is some high tier, top level political engagement.